And don't you know, that same day, I get a message from my sister, and she's like, "Hey, are you and Juan back together? Because somebody just sent me this picture asking me if you and Juan are back together."
We extended our Airbnb for like 2 other nights. We just told the guy, like, hey, is a schedule for the next 2 nights?
Our dating just completely broke every part of us that hadn't already been broken. There's a ton of grief to work through in those months or those weeks when we were broken up. And he was just very clear about he's going to be at this certain restaurant on February 14.
Fox Meadows. Welcome to our podcast.
This is a space we've created with love, a place where real people can share their healing journeys without fear or shame. Through honest conversation and deep connection, we hope to reveal that no story is too messy or too far gone for God's grace. We're passionate about exposing cultural blind spots, sharing truth with compassion, and glorifying God as the ultimate healer. His love on the cross conquered all, and that changes everything. Hey everyone, welcome back to the last part of our love story, part 3, the happiest part where grace wins and love conquers all.
Also the saddest part, because it's the last part of it, or the ending.
It's the last part we're sharing with you, but we've got a love story that's continuing for quite a few more years if it's up to us.
For sure, yeah. I'm excited, like I said before in our introduction, the first video we ever did, because we're finally going to interview somebody after this one, so we already have it all lined up, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so where we left you guys last time was actually at a very sad place in our love story, where we had been broken up against what we were wanting to do. And so we found ourselves at a very hard, grief-filled place. So how we both independently chose to handle that was to go for therapy, trauma therapy. I realized that I had a lot of work to do still in my life, a lot of healing that needed to happen before I would be able to sustain a healthy relationship. And Juan began to realize that even if a relationship with me was not in the future, that he was valuable enough to do some work on his heart as well.
Yeah.
So we did go to the same counseling center, but we had completely different counselors. I believe our counselors did communicate, though, with permission from us later on. But yeah, we broke up on February 1, and February 4, just a couple days later, I moved back to my own house. I was getting my strength back, doing pretty well physically. Still did not have a job. And started going for, actually I had my first trauma therapy appointment right before we broke up. So I had already started my journey with trauma therapy, and Juan was just getting his started as well. And that was a huge blessing for us as individuals, and just as much or more so for our relationship. Just identifying a lot of unhealthy patterns in myself that were making it impossible for me to have a healthy relationship and to sustain a healthy relationship with emphasis on the healthy. All of us can fall in love, right? But to be able to stay healthy and keep your identity, know what your goals are, without repeating the patterns of generations before you. Sometimes, for some of us, it takes a lot of hard work, and I do not regret any of the hard work that I put into trauma therapy.
Same here. Yeah, for sure. It was really good. It did help a lot, and I thought I was just a normal guy. Didn't really need much fixing, but just by some simple conversations, you find out that there's a lot that needs to be talked about to somehow, some way, through that find healing. And I'm very, very thankful that we both did find healings in areas that it was definitely going to be a pain this far if we would have continued to have that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like God used trauma therapy to save our relationship. That obviously Satan had a hand in tearing us apart, and God's hand is clearly seen in how he chose to put us back together. I had been through numerous counseling centers or types of counseling before, But I found trauma therapy to be in a completely different category than any of the other therapies I had been through. I didn't want to go back to having to tell my story all over again. You know, how traditional counseling often does. You start with telling your story and then you kind of go from there. I found trauma therapy to hit to the core a lot faster. And I discovered things about myself that even after years of counseling had never dawned upon me. So yeah, after a couple weeks of that, our counselors, we gave our counselors permission to communicate. So I was talking to my counselor as we were just processing my relationship with Juan. And obviously I really wanted to get back together with him. And she was very, she helped me grieve the fact that we had been broken up against our will. She helped me understand that I actually had a mind, that I could think, I was an adult, and I could make decisions. So that was huge for me, because coming out of the setting that I was raised in, everybody else did my thinking for me. And I was not used to actually trusting myself, my own heart, to make decisions. I always needed somebody else to tell me what to do. So that was huge when I realized, wait, I actually can date this guy.
Yeah.
So our counselors communicated. My counselor asked me for permission to talk to his counselor. And yeah, they both, after talking, recommended that we get back together.
Which you were very happy to hear.
Oh
that.
my goodness. That was
So
the
was
best
I.
news of my life.
Yeah, so
Because,
was I for sure.
yeah, even though so many other people were, still against it, they hadn't changed their minds. To have somebody who I had shared as deeply with as my counselor, recommending or like, blessing us if we wish to get back together was just huge to me. Because I don't know if our counselors hadn't recommended it, I don't think we would have ever gotten together. I guess God could have had other ways of making it happen, but he chose the best one.
You mentioned about like the fact that you didn't know I can make my own decision. I remember how much from all the fires that we were receiving, the arrows, I'm saying fiery arrows, how you at times where you said like, I wonder if I should just, leave all behind and go back to what I used to know or used to be, because even spiritually you thought that you could have possibly have a bit closer to God, or all that confusion and hurts and stuff that you were going through.
As empowering as empowering as it is to be given the permission to think your own thoughts and make your own decisions, it's also terrifying in a way. There were times when I was just like, if only I could just go back to my old setting and be told what to do and know that I'm getting to heaven because I'm doing all the rules.
Yeah.
That just felt simpler to me than needing to navigate every little nuance of the life I now had and the relationship that I was navigating. But that's every time I thought through it, can I go back? I knew I couldn't. There was no way, because I would have to sacrifice so much of my relationship with God.
Yeah.
And how I had come to learn to know him, that I knew it couldn't work. So I never did, thank God.
For sure. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, that you did that. But my therapy experience was, again, very good and very helpful. We came to understand certain things, and things that were just there from childhood, like very, very early years of childhood, and tears. There was a lot of tears. All throughout our dating.
Our dating just completely broke every part of us that hadn't already been broken. There's a ton of grief to work through in those months or those weeks when we were broken up.
But all those tears brought about a lot of healing. And there was a lot of tears. And I'm proud to mention that, because I'm so much better, so much freer, so much shame was left behind, and if it had to be through tears, I'm fine with that. I mean, cry. So
For
Don't
sure. Strong men cry.
don't believe that men don't cry. Yeah.
Right. So we've had people look at us and say, oh, I wish we could have what you guys have. Don't think for a moment that we came by it easily. We laid everything on the line for the beautiful love and connection that we have today, and we continue to fight for it with everything we have, because Satan hates relationship, hates connection, and
Yeah.
so yeah, we have been given an incredible gift with being able to be best friends and have a beautiful, beautiful marriage. It's everything that everybody said it wouldn't be. It couldn't
Right.
be. And so it's something that everybody can have. You
Amen.
just have to be willing to put in the hard work for it.
Yep. Probably some people will say, "Oh, that's because you just through your first year. Wait for the 10, 15." I the thing is that we talk about this a lot. Like, we don't, when we are disconnected or having struggles or whatever, we don't settle to just leave it at that. Like, we don't want to live miserably. We don't want to just go day by after day without um, connecting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do have moments and days that are hard, but again, we don't. It's not peaceful. It's not. So it's
You have
just
to push into conflict.
right.
I feel like that's the only way to resolve conflict. If you, just kind of do your days hoping things will get better or expecting this is probably as good as it gets, you're going to stagnate and you're going to go downhill
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
fast.
It's it breaks my heart, the relationships that I see that people just marry and settling for well, this is what we have, at least my husband or my wife is not cheating on me, or it's like, come on, there's so much more, so much more, so much more beauty. I wish we can have a better marriage, but yeah, it takes work. Not you confused. I can see that. I'm just
I'm not
saying.
confused. I just know everybody else is going to be.
Okay, yes. So, spirit of confusion, get away. Um, no, I'm saying that I just know that there's so much in
I think
every
what you're saying is that we can always get better.
right.
Like at no point do we want to say, okay, this is good enough.
Right. And even the thing is that it's not just you and I, there's God is in our relationship. So, where God is, I feel like unlimited amount of beauty and way more than we can expect. I mean, I never thought I would be so happily married with you. So now I'm like, maybe there's even more than that. So yes,
Yeah.
we should probably jump
We
into
digress, right?
into our dates here. So yeah, we broke up February 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and
We were doing trauma therapy, and our counselors recommended we get back together. It was February 14th, Valentine's Day. I saw Juan's status, and he was clearly indicating to me on his status where he was going to be on February 14th. He actually had posted a status a couple days before then, and I knew it was for me. And he was just very clear about he's going to be at this certain restaurant on February 14th.
Fox Meadows.
Yeah, Fox Meadows. Famous Fox Meadows.
Yeah.
And who did I want to spend Valentine's with more than my dear Juan? But this was before our counselors had recommended that we get back together, and it's just like, we're broken up, and like, yeah, I just don't know if I can do this. Actually, I was pretty sure I couldn't, but yeah, I was like, can't we just be friends? We never did a very good job of just being friends, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it. Anyway, so I talked to our support couple who, as I said, were still very dear to us and still are. And they were like, yeah, they wouldn't recommend it. And so, poor Juan.
If you guys really wanna make this work and heal from being separated, you gotta not connect at all.
Which they were right.
Yeah.
If we weren't going to get back together, we had to cut
Yeah.
ties completely.
Yeah, but
No Valentine's dates.
yeah, it was it was Valentine's Day, and I just there waiting and waiting because I was like, man, dreaming that she's gonna show up, and I forget why did we already have our second connecting texting thing that we
No.
invented? Okay. Yeah, I forget
The
why.
second Morse code.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I was
No,
there
I did not
hopeful.
respond.
But yeah, you never showed up, never responded, and just, well, that was a sad one.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I felt really terrible. I felt like a horrible human, but I knew I had this is just what I had to do. I
Mm.
really I wanted to be a healthy person as much as possible. So yeah, did not meet him, but we still always had our eyes out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could not get him off my mind. I don't think we were messaging. No, we weren't.
Okay.
Or very rarely, if ever.
No, we were not, I think.
Yeah.
But we connected somehow. Think we. Yeah, I think it was the fact that we left it. Yeah, when we on our last video, we said we left it at the place where we were on the couch, talking at the house of our support couple, and we were just like, I contacted you because I was like, hey, that was so lame, so not from you or from me. I just like at the park. I wanted to leave it at a better place.
He's always like, yeah, like I won't see you again, but like we need one more meetup to like work out a few more things that were torturing his mind. Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
So we did have a FaceTime or two after we broke up.
Yeah, we did.
Like just like the day or two right after we broke up to like
it was long hours.
hours of FaceTime.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like 3 hours of talking and then 1 hour of FaceTime. Yeah.
We must have had a lot of stuff to work out.
I know.
I think we were both desperately just grasping for peace and closure.
Right.
Whether or not we were approaching that the right way, we'll leave that to the listener's judgment.
But we were not finding that peace and closure that we thought we could.
The more we talked, the more there was to talk about, and we're still not done.
Clearly, we're still here talking.
No, we just broadcasted.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that was fun. What did we do after that?
So, was it after that we started using our notes to communicate?
I'm thinking it was around that area. Yes.
I don't remember what started it. Exactly. Yeah. I how do you even do this?
Yeah.
So how
I think it was the fact that we share. How was it?
You shared some links.
Well,
yes, at the beginning of our relationship, when we were sitting there at Fox Meadows when we were breaking up, like the first time before we even officially had our date.
Yeah.
We had created a shared note, right?
Yeah, share Apple Note.
Yes, because we were like sharing links to songs, like we had talked about. And somehow, go ahead.
So that is at Fox Meadows, that first time, 3 days after we met for the first time, Fox Meadow, we somehow shared that. I don't know why we didn't just send it to each other. And then, of course, at some point we started dating, obviously. And then we broke up.
We still had this shared note, though, even though it had sort of lain dormant.
Yeah, I think we shared maybe a few more things there, things we wanted to accomplish as a couple or whatever, I don't know. And then, we broke up, and they're like, okay, we finally had our conversation at the couch, and then we had a few FaceTime or conversation over the phone, so we're done. So we're not going to text, we're not going to call, but perhaps we can tap Morse code again through the note that we shared, and
just for your info, the Notes app updates really slowly.
Yeah.
It's not like messaging where you can see right away when they type. So it was the most awkward. Well, not quite as awkward as our original method of communicating through WhatsApp descriptions, but this was next. I mean,
at some point it just got really long because there was more things showing up, and you were right, and we were like, I think you said, wait, I thought we were not supposed to be contacting each other at all, and like somehow
But it wasn't like a supposed to thing. It was like we had agreed on it. And it was like, oops. how in the world do we even start messaging on the
I
notes
have
app?
no clue. But
That's really deranged.
yes, that is the craziest thing. Like that, we God was just working. I'm not blaming God for the wrong things we did at all, obviously, but God was putting things on our mind like, hey, connect this way, connect that way.
Because I
That
do
wasn't wrong,
feel
yeah.
like when we broke up, we had full intentions of completely surrendering
Right.
each other to God. And we did. Like when we were doing trauma therapy, we zeroed into that heart and soul. And yeah, I thought he was forever out of my hands.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I actually mentioned to Hannah that maybe we can close with that thought, but we're just talking about it right now. If there's anything, some sort of an emphasis that I would like to share with you guys from my relationship is the fact that I believe that just as in your salvation there is something in you that we do, as having faith and accepting Christ as our Lord and Savior and believing that in our heart. In this case, I feel like we gave each other back to God, even though there was some contact here and there. We fully, with our hearts, in pain and suffering, we're like, God, I'm giving her back to you. I think we even said that as we were going on hold or something. I don't know, together, and we gave each other we gave the other person to back to God and do what you're gonna do. I understand maybe this is not your will, so you will take this pain and emptiness in our heart from letting go, and you would either put someone else or heal it somehow, some way. And I just see that out of that surrendering, he brought back all the healing and the other person back to us. And to me, that was just this is that surrender your life, surrender your dreams, your goals, your thoughts, and when we give it all to him, he just gives it back tenfold.
Open Hands by Laura Story was my breakup song. I listened to that on repeat so much, so often. And it is incredible how when you completely open your hands to God, giving him the right to take everything, how he fills your hands so full with so much goodness, so it's overflowing. It takes so much courage to completely open your hands and surrender to God, especially when it's something that you love so much. I had never loved anything in the world like I loved my boyfriend. But giving him back to God and releasing him was the best thing that I ever did, because God gave him back, and he gave me back a stronger, more healed version of my boyfriend than I had before. And he also used that time to become very personal to me as well. It was proof to me that when you're down to nothing and when you have nothing left, God is enough.
Amen.
And it's important to remember that even whenever our hands are full and overflowing. But sometimes we need to be brought to the bottom so that we can truly experience that. And I'm so glad that God did that for us.
Yes, for sure. That's beautiful. We should go through our dates so that we don't make this video too long.
Yeah, so somehow we were communicating through the notes app. And then the next step in our love story was when our counselors recommended for us to get back together. So we communicated probably through notes again, and we ended up meeting at a Panera Bread and talking, and it was the best thing. And one thing I remember specifically about that meeting was, this is so random, but one of my huge insecurities ever since I was like a teenager was that I had these white spots on my fingernails. I think it's a mineral deficiency. I don't even think I have them anymore. Hardly ever. Anyway, but I had them a lot, especially when I crashed after we broke up. And I was just always insecure about them, which is so weird. But I just remember Juan loving the white spots on my fingernails and thinking that they were so cute. And he knew I was very self-conscious about them. So he made me put my hand on the table, and he put his hand right next to it, as I recall, and took a picture of my hand, one of the parts of myself that I was the most insecure about, and that's just a small example of how Juan really helped me overcome a lot of my body shame and insecurities about myself. It was just a sweet memory I had from there, because to me that was really huge.
Yes.
But
One thing I remember, sorry for cutting you off.
no problem.
I remember asking you to repeat to me, like, Juan, I know that you love me. That was that was a separate thing, but I remember that was like a little bit of a therapy experience for you.
That was so hard. I think that was actually after we had gotten back together again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because so I could tell Juan that I loved him. He could tell me that he loved me, and that was all great and fine, right? But to admit to Juan that I knew that he loved me was absolutely terrifying for me, because admitting that I knew that he loved me, in my mind, kind of gave him a license to do whatever damage to my heart he wanted to. It was a lot easier to leave that unsaid and not actually process the implications of being loved. Allowing yourself to be loved is so vulnerable. And to admit to Juan that I knew that he loved me was almost more than I could do. And it required quite some time of us sitting on the living room floor. Why were we sitting there anyway?
Yeah.
But I just remember shaking all over, trying to get the words out, and it took a lot of time until I could finally actually look at him and say, Juan, I know that you love me. And now and then I just look at him and I'm like, Juan, I know that you love me. Just to remind us of everything we've been through and how far we've come.
Yeah, our story is obviously not being told with every little tiny detail, because obviously there was a lot of hours of sharing. And we are humans, we forget things and they come back later and whatnot. But there's a lot of, we start remember sometimes like our dating days, and we start like sometimes even get teary, because it's just like so many amazing things that it's almost like you take it for granted now, because we just have this beautiful marriage now. We're not dating anymore. We just married. So, but not just, we are married. That's awesome. My wife. But yeah, I don't know why God was using having me do that for her, but I think it was very therapeutic and healing. Like she was getting rid of something by being able to say that. So that was good.
One stronghold at a time, we knock them down.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there's another video coming up at some point. My wife here made a great, she doesn't even know why I'm going to talk, that's why she's surprised. She made a great story. It was a 1 minute long videos. I'm like, let's just make that into a full video about the difference between
traditional counseling and trauma therapy.
Yeah, traditional counseling and trauma therapy. And it was very, very well accepted by the people that heard it. And we're going to try to put it together again in a more eloquent way. Anyways, it was good. So all that to say, we really recommend healthy, professional counseling. What would be trauma
therapy?
Yeah.
Trauma counseling, trauma certified therapists. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And we continued to do trauma therapy even after we were married, but we did it as a couple. And that saved us a lot of grief.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of stuff to work through after we got married too.
Mm-hmm.
Attachment styles.
Yeah.
Yay. We'll get into that later maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we wanted to get back together. Both of us were very over the moon that this is what we both want to do. We both feel confirmation from God because these two people, these are counselors that we have invited into our lives, after evaluating our relationship and seeing the grief that Juan and I were going through and knowing that neither of us had wanted to break up, and were giving us their blessing to go ahead. So, but the scary part was letting other people know. The first time it hadn't gone so well. So we didn't for a while. We kind of quietly went on dates here and there. We didn't go to church together. What did we do? I went with him to work like once or twice when he was on the road, going to be driving on the road. Once we met in the development by my house. We had a little worship service, just him and I, there by a tree. And then we went biking in the evening, I think. Just little stuff like that. Connecting, but trying very hard not to be discovered, because we just personally, I should say, could hardly handle receiving the kickback that we had the first time, because I knew it was going to be just like it happened. People were like, I thought you were broke up. Like, oh, you guys can't even stay apart. And I'm like, you don't have half the backstory.
Yeah, for sure. They don't.
Yeah. Then, March 10th, Sunday. We have to talk about that. Lyrica Sacra.
Sure.
So like I said, I didn't want to be seen with him, but I wanted to date him. So there was a choir practice that we both wanted to go to, but nobody knew we were dating yet again. So I go to this choir practice. We went separately, and I act like I never saw him in my life. Like, completely ignore him. And poor Juan sitting there. Well, you can describe your emotions about that better than I can.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really awkward. I don't have too much to say about that actually, but it was. We were.
You were pretty upset because you're like, come on, let's just be true blue. We're dating.
Yeah.
Like this, you're kind of being rude. And
yeah.
It kind of was.
I do have to say actually that I probably not about that, but about the whole thing is that you were validly concerned of having people find out. Like, it was hard for you were just so excited to be back with me that you didn't want people's comments to take that away, and you were not ready to deal with that. And sure enough, when we started making it public again, we did receive attacks, and you were once again getting afraid, but you were so much more.
I had my counselor behind me then, and I really trusted her, so that did really help, but it was hard. And for any couples listening who are in our shoes, couples who maybe the world has pulled away from, and you're left there to try to navigate things yourself, we're here for you. That is a passion that Juan and I really have, is to provide connection and community for couples who are outcast by their community, because it's hard to be alone. It's really hard to have a healthy relationship when it's just you and him, or just us two. And we did our best, but there are things we would do differently looking back. I would not say that we have regrets, because there is no shame when Jesus' blood has completely washed away our mistakes and our sins. But there is things you would do differently, and we would love to spare you the grief of and the hard work of having to work through all of that and process that, because so much of the things that we would do differently now looking back are simply a result of not having people. We didn't have people to hang out with on dates. It was just us. And so, Jesus has redeemed and made everything beautiful, but we would love to help spare you the grief of having to go through what we did. So contact us. Yes.
Being alone does not really work too well. It makes things much more harder. Yeah. We do. The thing is that even, two brains definitely think better than one. And then now you have two brains as a couple. But even as outside of that couple, that bubble that you make as husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, you need another point of view from outside of the relationship to help you see, where you're slacking or whatever, the ups or the downs. Like, no, you guys have this strength. You should push more towards that, or you have these things that we don't see as helpful to your future children or something. And yes, so definitely it's good to surround yourself with other couples.
And you might wonder what happened to our support couple through all of this. In the second half of our relationship, we had really worn them out in the first half. Just, it was intense helping us navigate our dating story. And then when we broke up, and then we started counseling, our counselors more filled the place of our support people. Even though we remained close friends with our original support couple, both Juan and I didn't feel it was fair to, even though I'm sure they would have received us if we had come ask them again for their support. It was just a lot for one couple to process and help us navigate. So, we had our counselors, and they were great.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, so next on the list, March 15. Okay, so we broke up February 1. March 15 is when we let people know that we were back together. And how we did that was I met Juan's youngest son, Maddox, for the first time. Juan had been I had met Matthew right after the beginning of our relationship. But Juan was just like, I want to know, that we're going to be together before you meet Maddox. Because he's like, I don't want to have to break his heart and explain to him why you're not coming around with that anymore. I got to meet him, and we pretty much fell in love from the first visit.
Big time, yeah.
He's an awesome little guy.
Yeah, that kid is very, very lovable and loving.
Yeah, so we posted a picture. We had Matthew along with us, went to Maddox's house, and we took a picture of all four of us, and I posted it on my Instagram. And don't you know, that same day, I get a message from my sister, and she's like, hey, are you and Juan back together? Because somebody just sent me this picture asking me if you and Juan are back together. I'm like, number one, my sister does not have Instagram, so somebody was on Instagram, screenshotted this, sent it to her. I'm like, networking, yay.
Yeah.
Like, we're back together.
Oh, man, and the attack started again. You receive a big old letter or more
Honestly,
than one?
I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah.
I just know it was bad. But it didn't affect me as much anymore.
Right.
Because I had I was healing.
You have peace that you were dating the person that you wanted to date, and you were, just...
The person that I was supposed to date, not just that I wanted to. I wanted to date you all along.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome thing to be back finally publicly, not have to hide, and just do our thing and push forward with our relationship without.
It was so. I was gonna say funny. Nah, it wasn't funny, but we were like the talk of the town. Like we go to Five Guys, and there's like this group of girls sitting off to the side, like looking at us and whisper, look at us and whisper. We're like, yeah, they probably heard that I was like marrying. I wasn't marrying you at that point, but I was dating this divorced guy, because that was like the popular opinion of the town that I was one of Juan's victims. I was just one on the list. Like he was divorced, and I was the next young chick in town. And people love to talk about that kind of stuff. Like now I can actually laugh at it, because people that love to talk about that have such small minds. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but yet almost do, because it's like, come on, you're made for so much bigger things than telling fancy stories about people that you heard that may or may not be true.
Well, it's just, to me, makes so much sense to just be like, hey, come up to you and say like, hey, I don't know you, but I know him, or I heard a lot about him. I think he's the most corrupt person that you could probably be hanging out with. Aren't you concerned? Like you probably, I don't know. I just feel like so often it's just better to
Now that I'm in Candace Owens mode, like, come on, I'll have you on my show. Like, I'd love to have you. Like, just talk. Ask me the questions.
Let's talk and figure things out. But no,
because there were so many times I was like centimeters actually away from like getting up and walking straight to the person that was staring and whispering, and just being like, "Hey, do you know me? Like, I'd love to learn to know you." Right. And just watch them just sink through the floor.
Yeah. Poor you. You were really struggling. It was just we had some. Even at Cabela's, remember a few girls just walking around, and they would see us like, and I think even point at us or something. It's just like, wow, y'all are obvious, but
here we are doing our thing.
That is just weird.
I'm amazed that your lives are so narrow that you're so involved in ours. But
right.
Oh yeah, but no, that was just, it became normal. We knew if we were gonna go somewhere, pretty much there would be we'd have an audience of some kind or another.
Right.
But I guess what we were doing was crazy. I guess it was. And so if I was looking on from the outside, I hope that I would not judge as I was judged. But I'm sure I would be fascinated by the new couple in town that's breaking all the expectations. And
yeah, it was not fun, but oh well. So that was the last date you mentioned was.
That was March 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy because it felt like we were broken up for years, but in reality, it wasn't that long. But a lot happened in just a little bit of time.
Well, we were not broken up, but for that long. But we were on hold for.
Yeah.
It's just it was. And even when we were dating, we had our beautiful moments. But you will receive a letter or you will receive a text, and it's like, okay, let's work through what you just received, and instead of us doing dating stuff.
Yeah, that is so often how it went. We're just trying to keep our heads above water. Or maybe you were trying to keep my head above water. It's more like it was like. Yeah. So after that, dating life, going to the beach, going to choirs, going to Longwood Gardens, going to weddings, Philadelphia, all the things, having a great time, and allowed to be together, allowed to post pictures.
Yeah.
Even though this thing of like screenshotting pictures on Instagram and sending them to people who aren't on Instagram is just kind of lame, y'all. But it happened to us a lot. Like people that I knew were not on Instagram would be like, we saw this picture of you like wherever, and you were like kind of close. Like we're not sure if we're comfortable with that. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, number one, you're not responsible for our relationship, and number two, you're not on Instagram. Where'd you get that picture? People had fun with us.
Mm-hmm. Quite a bit.
Yeah. So
well, you still look quite plain, and you were hanging out with plain and young. You were hanging out with a guy that, let's not get into that, whatever. Yeah, but obviously not from the culture. Did not look plain at all. So that was a concern. What
do you mean you didn't look plain? You look like a regular guy.
But not plain. Like I didn't.
You didn't wear a white shirt and black pants and a black hat to church, but it's not like you were wearing short pants, a do-rag, and a muscle shirt or something either.
Yeah, which all that is not a sin, but
no, I'm not saying it's a sin. It's just like the other opposite
I understand.
spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You were just a normal guy, being Juan, and everybody was taking offense at that.
Yepers.
Oh yeah. So,
and that is like one of the worst thing about the whole thing is like I'm just trying to be me. I'm not.
Story of Juan's life, just being Juan, and everybody else was like freaking out.
I'm not trying to go out of my way to break anyone's life and destroy it.
Yeah.
I like to mind my own business and just do me, and but anyways.
Yeah, so the next big milestone for us was I left for a little over a week to go out to a music camp in Ohio. And I tried to FaceTime or call Juan like every day because I really missed him. It felt like really, really far away. And I was just I was really enjoying this music camp. But I was just like really excited to get back home.
Yes, you were. So I'm working through that video in my mind. No, I'm not. So anyways, we are obviously going to make a video about that whole thing. She's actually talking about the fact that I showed up at that place in Ohio with a van filled up with Amish people.
My Amish friends that I had sang with.
Yeah, the friends, the other half of the friends that were not there in Ohio, they wanted to see the closing program.
Yeah, because I had driven a van load of Amish out to Ohio and then you came with the other half.
Yeah, and so we showed up, and I was telling everybody, like, please do not tell anybody over there or Hannah or anything that I'm coming along. And that day, very early in the morning, I turned off my tracking app or whatever. I think we had Apple Find My Apple somehow. I don't know. You were probably able to see where I was. I forget. And I, we would tag sometimes. And
I thought he was at a soccer game.
Yeah, and I said I was gonna be at a soccer game, and then she interestingly enough, when we got there, she goes out of the building.
So we had just finished. It was actually not the music camp building. It was the place where we were rehearsing for our concert that evening.
Mm-hmm.
We had dress rehearsal that evening. So we were there just rehearsing, and I had just gotten out of my choir room, and I was like, I want to call Juan. So I'm heading right out of the building and down the steps outside, going to go find a quiet place to call him. And it turns out I walked right past him, and I didn't even see him.
She did. I was already inside. I was inside the building. Because we got in.
But I was focused, man.
Yeah, you were. And I can tell you were looking at your phone and like you come out and I'm like, you'll see. I recorded the whole thing and I'm like, she just didn't see me. And I follow her out of the building and I can see she walks one way and walks the other way. And
because there was people everywhere and I went to find a quiet spot.
And I'm like, you look kind of lost. And she's like, and she was
brain freeze.
She looked white, like pale.
The last person I expected to see.
Yes.
I'm not that easy to surprise.
Yep. And then we went to put some stuff on the van. I'm like, oh, because you told me that you had like half an hour break or something.
Yeah, and for some reason he wanted to go out to the van right away. He had something to put away or something. I'm like, you just kind of got here, but whatever.
Yeah.
Classic Juan move.
And without being a very beautiful place with beautiful flowers and candles and all this, at a parking lot where the van was, I got on my knees and yeah.
So I opened the door to the van and he had my big stuffed bear sitting there. He had brought it the whole way from Pennsylvania. So I kind of had this little relationship going on, like fake relationship going on with this really big bear. And Juan always felt like it was a little bit of a rival, you know? Anyway, so he brought this bear along. He was sitting in the front seat, and he had our little wooden hearts propped against the bear. And so I, like, opened the door, and there it is. And I'm still in denial. I'm just like, oh, this is cute. Like, you're thinking of me. You're being romantic. I didn't even see the cameras set up somehow, even though you forgot to turn one of them on.
Okay, I'm not going to give the name of the one action camera that is a pain because it freezes up. But whatever. I think you still got it though. But yeah, I got some cameras set up and
so I opened the door and then I turned around.
Yeah, and I was already on my knee waiting like, hey, so would you like to marry me by any chance?
You didn't say the by any chance part.
I didn't, yeah. Do you by any chance, want to be live with somebody for the rest of your life? No, I didn't say that, but thankfully you say yes.
It was not hard to say yes.
Yeah.
It's just like by this point I was 100% in and I knew I could never get out again.
There was a car coming inside the parking lot and I'm like, I wonder if they thought that we were joking or something. 'Cause they probably were like, I don't think anybody will propose right here.
It really cracked me up.
Some people, hot too.
Yeah. Some people might have been annoyed that it wasn't like, a romantic setup. To me, it was like the most romantic thing because he did it. It was just such a Juan move to like surprise me in Ohio and propose in a parking lot.
That was the whole purpose
awesome.
to get there. So I was like, wait, if she goes back to rehearsing and whatever, I don't know when we're going to be out. And I'm going to be, I forget why. I thought about it. I'm like, we have to do it now during her break. And it worked out perfectly.
And of course, I have a smile that's miles wide walking back into the building. I had to go get on stage like almost right away. I only need a half-hour break. And so I get proposed to, I say yes, and then I have to go back on stage and I have to sing a solo. Yeah. But I was a little bit breathless. I just remember sitting
you did great.
Until my choir was called. I sat there in the audience with my fellow choir members and I'm just like, guys, I just got engaged. And they're like, ah! Of course. So yeah.
It was amazing.
It was fun. Yeah. So wedding plans. We're going to get married in September, right? So like we counted out September. We think we can do a wedding by then. I did not expect to receive any support or help from my family. I mean, from my father, like as far as financing or putting together a wedding. He did end up giving me a gift then, a money gift for to help the wedding. So. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the amount. Yeah.
No, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Which is very kind of him because I know that was hard.
And then we got some from your, what you said that they do before you're going to get married?
bridal shower. That was just a couple days before that was like
Okay.
But
well,
yeah, that
I'm
helped.
saying, yeah, that they
We got a
also,
very big gift in our bridal
yeah,
shower from some very dear people who think that we don't know who they are, but we think we
yeah.
do. Yeah, God really blessed us. So yeah, we're gonna get married in September, right? Because I was gonna be teaching school starting the end of August, and so we thought we'll just get into the rhythm of teaching school, and then we'll get married. And a couple weeks later, like probably whatever it would have been, I don't even know exactly when it was. We are talking, I'm completely overwhelmed trying to get ready for school all by myself. I was going to be a music teacher, and trying to get ready for a wedding all by myself. I had my wedding dress ordered already, and I think my bridesmaids as well. But like I was so swamped. And so we're like, Juan's sitting beside me, and he's like, well, why don't we get married in like, I don't know, like 2 weeks? And I'm like, wait, what? Well, why don't we? I mean, actually, we could do a wedding in 2 weeks, couldn't we? So we're like looking on our calendars, and yeah, we think we could do a wedding in 2 weeks. So my wedding dress hadn't come yet. My bridesmaids' dresses, I think I had ordered like the groomsmen's suspenders and shoes, or I had sent them the links anyway. They were supposed to have them ordered. And so we're like, okay, we're going to do this, right? So I'm calling the place that I had ordered the dresses from, saying, hey, we kind of need them like in 2 weeks instead of whenever it was that they were planning to come. And I ordered the dresses on a website that turned out to be like from China, and I had to like measure all my bridesmaids and then send the measurements in, right? Well, to hop ahead a little bit, my dress came a little over a week before the wedding, and it was huge, like saggy, baggy, huge neck. My maid of honor's dress came a little bit later. She was not able to try it on until the day before the wedding, and we couldn't even get the zipper shut. The other two bridesmaids, thank goodness, their dresses fit. So anyway, now that we're on the dress subject, I'm racing around trying desperately to find someone who can alter this dress. Like, it had a lace overlay. It was kind of complicated makeup, and I knew that I can sew, but I can't fix that. And all the dress designers and sewers are saying, oh no, we're full. Wait, you're getting married in 2 weeks and you don't even have your dress figured out? Like, all the Mennonite dressmakers that I'm contacting are panicking for me. And I'm just like, you know what? If we can't get it fixed, I'm going to sew a dress the day before the wedding. I mean, I can sew. I'll buy white fabric. I have a pattern. I'll sew it up. It's not going to be fancy, but it's going to be white. Thank God for dear Hildegard Woolman that a friend referred me to. She's I would love to promote her. I don't know if she has a website. Hildegard.
I thought it was a Hutterite.
She's a Hutterite lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But her name is Hildegard. And she was my angel of mercy. She was like, I've never heard of her before, but somebody told me about her, and she's like, well, she'll take a look. And she put in so many hours trying to make my dress fit. We got to the wedding day, and it didn't fit. It wasn't my dream dress. Like, it didn't fit perfectly, but I could wear it at least. It was a lot better than it was. So kudos to Hildegard. If you're listening, I love you so much. She also took my maid of honor's dress and worked her magic on it. Unfortunately, she still couldn't get the zipper shut. So what we ended up doing with my maid of honor, well, the night before the wedding, my maid of honor and I are sitting on the couch just randomly ordering dresses off Amazon in her size. We're like, if Hildegard can't make your dress work, we're just gonna like, you're the maid of honor. You can wear something different than everybody else. And like next day delivery, thank you, Amazon Prime. So yeah, we get the dress back from Hildegard for my bridesmaid, and we still can't get the zipper shut. What we ended up doing is, my sister took a piece of fabric and pinned it with safety pins in the gap that the zipper would not close. And I had a sweater in my drawer that was the exact shade of my maid of honor's dress. And so we popped that on, and nobody knew that she didn't have her zipper shut in the back.
It was literally the exact same shade. I don't understand how that worked, but yeah, that really saved the day.
It was crazy, but we did it. And now looking, like, the whole time I was sort of in, you know what, we're gonna get married, and I really don't care how it happens mode.
And then God was working everything behind the scene. Like, we had one of our friends had brought a lift to put the lights because we were getting married in the park outside.
When we had decided to get married at 2 weeks, we didn't have a venue, we didn't have a bishop, we did not have a marriage license.
Yes, we didn't have any of that.
Oh, but it's going to work out, and guess what? It did.
Yeah, it did. We did not decide 2 weeks. We were looking at the calendar, like, wait, how? I'm like, oh, this week is not gonna work. Oh man, but we did, and then we were like, oh man, the only time that's gonna work is 2 weeks from now. So hey, we can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sure enough, like everything, one thing we got our marriage license. We got started calling people to get us married.
That was a little bit stressful. Some people were like, we could, but y'all are that couple.
Right. And then our minister was really he blessed us, and he was willing to do it, but his daughter was getting married out of the state that same weekend, so it's like, nope, cannot do it. Sadly. So yeah, we can't.
I don't think it was quite like, I don't think it was his daughter, but yeah, he was gone that weekend. Yeah. Okay. Just in case they're listening and they're like, hey, that detail's not right.
I thought you and her. Oh no, you got.
She got married the weekend before me, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're right. And so yeah, we find somebody that, and then he's like, oh, I don't do this, that, and the other because, but I can refer another person.
Oh yeah, we contacted one bishop that said he could marry us, but not if we're going to have any sort of instrumental music, and we were going to have a orchestra.
Yeah, we did. It was
so
amazing.
He referred us to somebody else, and we met with them the Sunday before we got married, just like 6 days before we were getting married, and he consented to marry us.
Yep, we got a person that we used to do Bible study with. He got to do the message.
My spiritual dad that we had talked about before.
Yes, he got the message. We had, like I was saying, our friend brought a lift to help us hang lights.
Because with the venue, that was a whole rigmarole trying to find one in 2 weeks. That's fairly economical, and I called around a whole bunch of places, and we settled on a park to do it outside. They had like a whole outdoor seating area and a huge stage. Actually, Little Springs Park.
Yeah,
and the band shell at the back.
We got engaged. I mean, we took our photos. We officially started dating there. And then we also took our photos to send it out.
Standing barefoot in the water.
engaged wedding photos, yes. And then we also got married there. And then we had another friend that brought speakers and mics and everything. So that was really needed, and that was special. And we were thankful for that. We had his wife and your sister, I think, helped with the food and snacks and decoration. It was
a community effort. My family, one of my sisters helped us with the food, helping to pull things together. What we decided to do is I asked my Amish girlfriends to each bring a dozen of cupcakes each, and it held out perfectly. There was enough for everyone. So they brought the cupcakes. We put together meat and cheese and fruit kebabs the morning of the wedding, because we got married at 7 o'clock in the evening. And we had iced coffee. I think, did my mom bring that? I forget. We had ice cream. Yeah, iced coffee, meadow tea, and water. I think that was it, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was a lot of stuff. I don't know. Nor do I care, because I didn't get to eat any of it. I guess, have you ever heard of something of a couple that stay there the very, very last and close the doors, basically? Yeah, we stayed there after everybody left, and we were the last one to leave the park.
And poor Juan realized that he, as groom, had only eaten half of a cupcake. Right?
Yeah, when I'm looking back, at the end I'm like, wait, I never got anything to eat. What in the world happened? But yeah, it was such an amazing night that as I'm getting in the car, looking back, like, okay, we got everything picked up, blah, blah, blah.
Everybody had left for us.
And I just like envisioned everybody there. I was like, oh, it broke my heart. I'm like, man, it's you wish good things last forever. It was such an amazing evening that, wow.
Yeah. And for those of you saying, like, what are the details? What colors did you have? Like, how did it all come together? It was a perfect outdoor setting. God gave us beautiful, absolutely perfect weather for the middle of July. It was cool. Mm-hmm. It was breezy. Our friends strung up string lights, so our venue was lit by string lights. So it was just this really sweet, romantic atmosphere. We had almost 200 people that showed up with 2 weeks notice. That was pretty amazing of them. My family did attend, which I was so grateful for. I wasn't sure if I would expect them to. My grandpa did not, which I was not surprised. But yeah, it was so interesting watching my dad fall as the wedding progressed, because I invited almost no, well, let's say it this way. The only people that we invited were those who deserved to be there. I did not invite anyone who had, who was going to steal my peace on my wedding day.
Criticize us, and
I mean, my family was there, obviously, and we had our struggles with them, but they deserved to be there because they were my family. Right. But yeah, we had people there who loved, just to surround us with love and support and friendship. And the way I ended up, I only invited one set of uncles and aunts. I invited a few cousins. There were people who did not come because they thought we were having sex before marriage, and they didn't want to come because of that, which we weren't. And it was a rumor that was going around, and it was one of many. So it was just, it made me very sad that they cared so little for me, that they were just like believing the worst that they could believe and not coming. But I mean, that's life. What can we do about it? We forgive and we move on. But it was hard. We
did have a lot more people that we wish were there. But since it was so fast, a lot of people couldn't make it. We did invite quite a bit. Yeah, there was a lot of, you had a group of Amish. We had my very close friends were the one that were doing the musical, what's it called? Instruments, yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a live orchestra there. What's the
yeah, it was
chance
amazing.
of that?
But we should continue so that we can just show you on a video. So for all you listeners, you will miss it if you don't go on YouTube and watch it when it comes out. The only thing is that I have a few other weddings that I have to finish before I do ours, because it's not fair. It wouldn't be fair for,
we'll get there.
But we'll get there for sure. I'm doing more computering and editing, but yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna see the videos. It was nice. We didn't get the greatest angles and all that stuff, but it showed the purpose of the. There's memories, beautiful memories.
Yeah, right. What I was saying about my dad thawing is that I didn't have any of his brothers and sisters there, and nobody from his church, and that ended up being such a blessing, because he could come, and when he came, he had this very dark look on his face sitting on the front row. I just remember, like, it was hard for me. We were sitting up on the stage facing, and I could see that Dad was really not happy, and he has space for that. He doesn't have to be happy for us, but it was hard. And then as the night progressed and he realized that nobody was there that was going to judge him for being happy, he became so sweet. I was so glad he was there. He was so happy. He actually held a sparkler when we did our sparkler exit, which was pretty amazing, because he's been at weddings I know where he would not do that. So that just meant so much to me, that he was able to relax and actually enjoy my wedding and not be sad the whole time.
Yeah, I think everybody felt like my cousin said last night when they were here, that they feel like there's peace in this house. They felt the peace and the blessing from God, because
we had a grace-themed wedding. Yeah. Our speaker spoke on grace, and when people entered the wedding area, we had a sign sitting there with the sign, "We've all received grace upon grace," because that was just the story of our love story, and that was how we were able to be together, was just because of so much of God's grace, and then more grace stacked on top of that.
It wasn't because of anything we did that we are here together. It was because of God, just like salvation. It's nothing that we did. It's just a free gift. And
it was because of God's grace that I was able to walk down the aisle alone. My dad didn't want to walk me down the aisle. So I walked down. There were other people who would have, but I wanted to save that spot for my dad. And if he didn't want to take it, I didn't want to put somebody else in his place and respect him in that way. I don't know if he felt respected in that way or not, but like, it was because of grace. I was able, after everything I'd been through, to be an absolutely joy-filled, radiant bride walking down the aisle alone to meet my husband at the end with complete confidence and joy that this was God's will. This is what we were supposed to do, and just madly in love.
Yep, it was amazing. Again, you'll see more stuff on the video. It was so for you listeners only. Subscribe to our channel. Which, by the way, we don't. Anyways, you before I say that, we can close after that. I wanted to say, and show, but real quick, where is it? Oh,
This is a crash. This is a crash ending.
yes. Let me see. Camera is right here. Okay, right there and right here. These marshmallows are in all kinds of designs, and they're very, very good. We are gonna enjoy that tonight with some hot cocoa
They come in all different flavors.
and shapes, pretty much. This one is like a donut. Anyways, they're really good.
They're made by some very dear friends of ours, and we were wanting to do a promo for them. Just they have a small business, and they also support other small businesses.
Which is, yeah, and it's not just because they're friends. It's because I love what they're doing. They're promoting small businesses, people that are just starting, and we'll put the website for you guys to visit. But we're not a sponsor. I guess we sometimes have to say this on YouTube. I don't know why. And but yeah, if any of you rich people want to sponsor us, drop some cash somewhere. Or ask us, I don't know. But yes, I strongly suggest visiting it and buying some of those marshmallows. There's more stuff. It's not just the marshmallows. And it's good stuff. It's really good. Not just because they're friends, but they're good. They're made with love, which always silly. You don't eat good food if the food was made with hate. Yeah, that's why I eat good food when my wife cooks.
I apologize for your whiplash. We went from getting married and having a wonderful wedding to marshmallows and small
which
businesses.
again, the people that are only listening, I guess they cannot see we'll put pictures maybe. Anyways, please visit and continue to support us in prayer, which is something I say at the end, but I'll say it now. That's the sponsorship section on this video. But no, I thought after the wedding, were you looking forward to say something else? The video's getting long for poor people to stick around.
You know, we can do episode 4 on honeymoon stage or honeymoon phase, like people call it, but they probably don't want to hear that part. We could talk about trauma therapy and how that is a huge blessing for couples like us who are trying to trying to mesh attachment styles. But I think we could do that in another episode, and not part 4 of Juan and Hannah's love story. I feel like we've like kind of covered that. We're already into marshmallows, so we should probably move on.
No, the thing is that I wanted to I felt like we can end with that, but yeah, everybody has what's it called, honeymoons. We did have one. That was another mess. Like we planned one thing, got another, but it was everything we did was beautiful though. Like that's the thing. We were just kind of random here and there.
Our honeymoon was it a week long? Let's see, when it was 5 days.
Something like that. I think it was like 5 between. Yeah.
Because
but also, go ahead. Well, because what?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, it was so short notice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to find an Airbnb. And we were just so busy planning wedding. It was like as long as we're married, we don't really care where in the world we are. Yeah. But some of our friends got us a Airbnb for a couple of days on the New Jersey shore. Never mind that we slept most of our honeymoon because we were so worn out from the 2 crazy weeks of wedding planning. But
those 2 weeks.
But it was stressful. A beautiful time. Yeah. We pretty much slept all day and came out at night to enjoy the city life. Like. Yep.
We extended our Airbnb for like 2 other nights. We just told the guy, like, hey, is a schedule for the next 2 nights? For the next night and the next night. But those 2 weeks were hard. That's something I forgot to say. It was really stressful. I was just going crazy. But
he got to a wedding day with his tongue hanging out a little bit. I think he had a little bit of emotional freeze from just kind of in a daze, from all the craziness we had been through. But we made it.
Yes, we sure did. One thing I wanted to show, if you pull the list again, is so we went on hold. Now listen to this part. It's crazy. We went on hold. Which date?
January 21.
So January of 21, we go on hold. February 1st, we break up for good.
March 15, we're officially back together.
And then we got engaged
June 22.
June 22.
And married July 26.
And July 26 we are one flesh, one soul. Now, when we went on hold, remember I said that we were going to be on hold for 6 months. And if we would have continued with that, we were just going to see ourselves once a month. But if we would have continued and followed through, we were going to get back together on it was before the 20th, the 16th, I think it was. July 16th. But yet we were married almost in July 16th.
10 days after July 16th, when we were just supposed to be getting back together again after being on hold.
For 6 months. Now, how crazy is that? Now, it's just a story to show how putting God on a box just doesn't work ever. He doesn't fit. Just doesn't.
There was a saying that I found this week that I thought summed up our love story so well. And it's a commission that every couple has, but to us, it felt especially personal. It says, you and your spouse weren't just brought together to love each other. You were chosen to break generational patterns, to heal what was broken, and to build something better for the ones coming after you. The cycles of brokenness, division, and survival end with you. God called you to be the beginning of a new legacy, one your children and their children will thank you for. You are rewriting your family's story. That felt very personal to both Juan and I. Our love story is not something that we could have ever imagined or made it happen. It was such a God thing, how we met and how we went through so much. And here we are, defying every odd. It's nothing but grace and God and love conquering all.
Amen. That was very well said. I'm not going to add anything to that. I'm just going to say, remind you to please continue to pray for us. The next video is going to be a good friend and somebody that we admire. A famous person, perhaps, in the kingdom of God.
Famous person in the in God's kingdom for sure.
Yes.
He's a wonderful individual.
And stay tuned. We'll hear his life story. And we'll
being called to singleness.
Yes, and
I'm really excited to hear more about that.
We'll have him later on again at some point talking on other Bible topics and whatnot. But yes, it's gonna be excited. We're finally gonna switch our setting for a little bit, so you don't have to see this wall for the next episode. And thank you so much for being here. You guys are a blessing. And we are hoping to continue to be a blessing to everyone listening, everyone watching. We pray that God would bless you guys and that you will find healing and not give up, push through, get rid of shame like I did through this whole dating and marrying. And now I feel free and so much freer than I was, because I was obviously a free Christian. But yeah, it's just, I feel like the sky's the limit. God is good, and looking forward for the future for sure.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to buy marshmallows.
It's not just marshmallows, by the way. There is baskets, gift baskets. There's cocos, hot cocos, all kinds of little different things that are epic for now for the winter and for gifting
stocking stuffers
during Christmas. So check out the website. Again, we're not sponsored, but we want to sponsor want to promote little businesses and whatnot. It's good stuff.
Thanks so much for being here, both those of you who have been encouraged and blessed by our story, and those of you on the other spectrum who's saying, wait, I don't know about these people. We have received so much blessing in the comments. There have been people who didn't have blessings to give, let's say, both in the comments. And it was so interesting after our last episode, part 2 of our love story. the stories that we heard, people really react. There were some people who really reacted to that, and we know who they are, and at least some of them, and we know why. I I found a quote recently that I resonated with so much, and it says, "Apparently, I suffer from the disorder where I speak the truth and it annoys other people." Okay, it said it a little bit different than I finished off there, but yeah, it really aggravates other people. And so, if you are one of those people who are hearing my truth and reacting to it, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, but I'm not sorry for speaking my story, and I am passionate about empowering every single person that I encounter to tell their story. Nobody else gets to tell your story for you. You get to tell your story exactly how you experienced it and how it happened to you. And we're here to hear it. That's what our platform is for. So,
Amen.
As always, you're free to contact us if you have a story that will bless others that you'd like to share with the world.
Yes, I emphasize on that part. If you want to, if you know that something in that story is going to bless somebody else, it's going to be hard for us to just say, yes, share. If you're just gonna come and say, this person did this, like,
there's a difference between sharing your story to bless others and sharing your story for the validation that we ourselves receive from just spewing it out there, having it out. So as we select people for our podcast, we're trying to be very sensitive to that each story that is shared can be a blessing and not just a gab session about all the bad things you've been through or we've been through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, we're just doing our thing. Like we're not trying to get here to bash on people, hurt people, or we're just here to. We're not experts. We don't have any degrees or titles or whatever. We just.
I feel like that should be pretty obvious.
It is obvious. We're just here because we enjoy this, and because more than that, we feel like God really had us do this, pointed us to do this, and we are obeying His commandments, His will, and there'll be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So comment, follow, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I don't like saying that, but I guess for the closing this video, I'll say it. And
buy marshmallows.
It's not just marshmallows. It's more than that. Adios. Now I know in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. Now abide faith, hope, and love. These three. The greatest of these is love.